When I speak of healing, I do not mean only the absence of pain. I speak of restoration, of balance, of gentleness returning to the body. In the quiet path of health, some of the most powerful allies are the ones that ask for nothing, that go unnoticed. One of them is lentils. They are not glamorous. You won't find them wrapped in vibrant labels or promoted by celebrities. They sit humbly on the shelves, simple, small, and unassuming. But when it comes to calming the fire of inflammation, especially the kind that settles deep in the joints of the elderly, lentils are a quiet force of nature. For those who walk the path of arthritis or accompany someone on that path, know this: lentils are more than food. They are nourishment with intention. They bring not only satiety, but support, and they ask little in return. Affordable, accessible, and simple to prepare. No overnight rituals, no difficult instructions, just water, heat, and time. But simplicity should not be mistaken for insignificance. Within these tiny legumes lies a harmony of nutrients that work together, not to fight the body, but to support it in remembering its natural rhythm. Let us begin with protein. The human body is a beautiful structure of regeneration. Muscles, bones, tissues, all in constant renewal. Protein is the builder. It repairs what is worn, restores what has been strained. But not all protein serves in the same way. Some forms, like red meat, carry with them an inflammatory burden, a heaviness that weighs down the very joints you are trying to protect. Lentils offer protein of a different kind, plant-based, clean, supportive. It does not inflame, it nourishes, it gives without demanding, and that is the beginning of why it matters. But lentils do not stop at protein. They carry within them another gift, magnesium. Most people, especially in the later seasons of life, walk unknowingly with a deficiency of this gentle mineral. Magnesium is like the breath in meditation. It softens, it soothes. It eases the tightness in muscles, loosens the joints that have stiffened through the night, and calms the nerves that whisper pain. Have you ever risen in the morning and felt your joints locked, reluctant to move? That rigidity is not only age, it is imbalance, and magnesium can be the key to unlocking that stillness. Then there is potassium. It is often overlooked, a silent partner in health, but its role is significant. Sodium, common in the processed foods of modern life, holds onto water, causes puffiness, swelling, pressure in the joints. Potassium, by contrast, is the element of release. It helps the body let go, flushing out excess salt, easing the swelling, reducing the pain. In this way, lentils act as a cleanser. They move the body toward balance again. And then, fiber. Often we associate it with digestion alone, but in truth, fiber is a stabilizer. When blood sugar rises too quickly, inflammation follows, a surge of internal heat that can make joints ache and movements stiffen. But fiber slows the rise. It steadies the tide. With lentils, the energy enters gently. No spike, no crash. Just calm, sustained nourishment that protects the joints and supports a clearer mind throughout the day. And hidden even deeper within lentils is folate, vitamin B9, a quiet nutrient with a powerful task to lower homocysteine. This amino acid, when too abundant, stirs the fires of inflammation, subtly intensifying pain without visible cause. But lentils, rich in folate, bring balance once again. They keep the quiet internal chemistry of your blood in harmony. None of this is miraculous. It is not a miracle that lentils help. It is nature understood. It is the body supported in the way it was meant to be. And the result, less pain, greater flexibility, more energy. These are not gifts given by the lentil, but awakened by it. This is the way of healing, not to fight, but to listen, not to overwhelm the body with force, but to offer it what it has been asking for all along, nourishment that aligns with its own wisdom. So I invite you, not as a master, but as a companion on this path, to see lentils differently, not as food, but as a quiet gesture of care, a step, small but certain, toward relief, and perhaps more importantly, toward peace, in the joints, in the body, in the spirit. Often, when we speak of health, we become lost in theory, ideas, nutrients, studies. But in the monastery, I have learned that transformation does not happen in thought alone. It happens in practice, in the meals we prepare, in the choices we repeat, in the humble rituals of daily life. So perhaps now you are wondering, how do I bring lentils into my life? The answer is beautifully simple, however you wish. Lentils are not demanding. They do not ask for hours of preparation or complicated recipes. They adapt to time, to taste, to the pace of your day. Whether you love the kitchen or avoid it, lentils make no judgment. They welcome you just as you are. In a warm pot of soup or stew, lentils become grounding. They thicken the broth at depth and warmth. A handful of garlic, the sweetness of onion, a few gentle spices, and you have created something healing, not just a meal, but an offering to your body. In the warmer seasons, lentils can be cooled, dressed with olive oil and lemon, and tossed with crisp vegetables. What begins as a simple salad becomes a harmony of colors, textures, and intention. Or perhaps your goal is to reduce meat, not out of ideology, but because your joints ask you to. Then lentils are there again, a hearty filling for wraps, tacos, or burgers crafted by your own hands. They take on flavor with ease. Earthy, spicy, or even slightly sweet, the lentil yields and absorbs. This is the art of nourishment, to listen, to respond, to adjust without resistance. There is also a practicality to them that brings relief to busy lives. Unlike many beans and legumes, lentils require no soaking. There is no need for planning days in advance. Rinse them gently, place them in a pot with water or broth, bring to a boil, and allow them to soften over 20 or 30 minutes. That is all. What you receive in return is not only sustenance, but ease. In digestion, in time, in the effort it takes to care for yourself. And if you wish to go further to enhance the healing quality of this small seed, you can do so with intention. Combine lentils with other anti-inflammatory companions, leafy greens like kale, a pinch of turmeric and black pepper, or a touch of lemon to awaken the flavor. Each element brings its own medicine. When these ingredients come together in your bowl, it is more than just food. It is a statement, a declaration that your healing is in motion, that your pain does not define you, and that the journey back to comfort can begin here, quietly. You do not need to become a different person. You do not need to abandon everything you know. Transformation begins with small, steady acts. A spoonful of lentils, a new recipe once a week, an openness to try, to notice, to feel. The path to relief is not paved in extremes. It is built through consistency, gentle repetition, like the breath, like the morning sun. And these small acts, repeated with care, become strength. When you pass through the grocery aisle, let your eyes soften. Let them rest on the bag of lentils that many overlook. Pick it up, bring it home, not as a project, but as a promise to feed your body in the way it needs. Try, observe, listen, because lentils are not only filling your stomach, they are easing your inflammation, nourishing your joints, and returning strength to your movements. They remind you that your body, though challenged, is not defeated. It is easy to feel that arthritis has taken control, that your body is no longer your own. But healing is not found only in medications or treatments. It can also be found in your kitchen, in simple, grounded foods that bring peace, not only to your symptoms, but to your spirit. That is the true medicine. When we seek healing, we are not looking only for comfort. We are looking for strength, not the kind of strength that resists, but the kind that supports, quietly, steadily. Chickpeas embody this strength. Much like lentils, chickpeas offer a rich, plant-based source of protein, but they bring with them something more, a deeper balance, a cleaner form of nourishment that respects the body's need to heal without harm. In the later chapters of life, when joints have grown stiff and movement becomes more deliberate, protein becomes a quiet necessity. It supports muscle tissue, which in turn protects the joints. Imagine your muscles as the scaffolding that holds the joints steady. The stronger they are, the less strain the bones must carry. Chickpeas help build that scaffolding, not with force, but with presence. Unlike red meat, which can carry with it the burden of saturated fats and inflammatory triggers, chickpeas offer support without the side effects. This is the path of healing, to give the body what it needs without adding to its suffering. But chickpeas go further still. Within them lies a group of natural compounds called polyphenols. The name may sound complex, but their purpose is simple: protection. Polyphenols are antioxidants, the guardians of your cells. They defend against free radicals, those unstable molecules that drift through the body and cause inflammation, cell damage, and pain. In those with arthritis, free radicals are often at work behind the scenes, quietly worsening symptoms. Chickpeas respond to this with calm resistance. Their polyphenols offer a kind of shield, one that softens the blow of oxidative stress, reducing inflammation and slowing the damage over time. Each bite becomes a form of cellular defense. And there is another gift they offer: vitamin C. Many forget how vital this vitamin is to joint health. It's not just for the immune system or cold prevention. It is the cornerstone of collagen production, the tissue that cushions the space between bones, the soft lining that allows movement without pain. As we age, collagen production slows, the cushion thins, joints become creaky, sore, resistant. But with vitamin C from chickpeas, the body remembers how to rebuild. It doesn't just numb the discomfort, it works from within, restoring that fluid motion once more. And yet, the story is not complete without speaking of magnesium, the same mineral that lentils quietly carry. Chickpeas offer in abundance too. This mineral is not dramatic, it does not announce itself, but its role is profound. It relaxes the muscles, calms the nervous system, and strengthens the bones. It allows your joints to rest. When the muscles around your joints are tight from tension, from age, from the quiet stress of daily living, they place greater burden on the bones. Magnesium softens that tension, allowing relief to ripple through the body. And because sleep is often disturbed by chronic pain, magnesium offers another gift: deeper rest. And in rest, healing begins again. Lastly, chickpeas offer something easily overlooked: fiber. Not glamorous, not often praised, but essential, because fiber stabilizes blood sugar, and when blood sugar spikes, inflammation rises with it. This connection is simple but powerful. Steady blood sugar means calmer joints. So with chickpeas, you are not just feeding your hunger, you are nurturing your system, reducing silent inflammation, and supporting your body in its own quiet renewal. This is not a miracle food. It is simply a food that respects your body's needs. And in that respect lies great power. In the rhythm of the body, balance is everything. When we consume meals heavy in sugar or refined carbohydrates, we often disturb that rhythm. Blood sugar spikes, inflammation follows, and for those living with arthritis, this can awaken stiffness, soreness, and deep discomfort. But there is a counterbalance, quiet and steady. Chickpeas, rich in natural fiber, help to slow the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. With that slowing comes stability, and with stability, inflammation begins to quiet. The more even your blood sugar remains throughout the day, the more ease your joints begin to feel. In this way, chickpeas are not just food, they are regulators of internal harmony. And that, for someone living with chronic pain, is no small gift. But the beauty of chickpeas extends beyond what they do within. It is also found in how easily they become part of your daily life. Hummus, for instance. A simple creamy blend of chickpeas, tahini, lemon, and garlic has long been a staple in many traditions. It is not merely a dip, it is a reflection of how nourishment and flavor can live together without effort. Pair it with fresh vegetables or whole grain crackers, and you've created a moment of mindful eating. But the possibilities continue. Chickpeas can be roasted with olive oil and herbs, transforming into a crunchy, satisfying snack that is both healing and deeply enjoyable. They can be added to soups, stews, and stir-fries, where they absorb the flavors around them: turmeric, cumin, black pepper, each bringing their own healing intention. In a bowl alongside quinoa, sweet potatoes or avocado, chickpeas add grounding. In curries, they lend warmth. In a salad, they bring balance, softening the sharpness, holding everything together with quiet strength. Their mild flavor is not weakness, it is openness. They accept what you give them, and in that, they teach us something, that healing often comes through willingness to adapt. Even in baking, chickpeas quietly appear. Chickpea flour offers a gluten-free alternative for pancakes, breads, and cookies. Whole chickpeas can be blended into brownies or formed into nourishing patties. These forms are not tricks. They are expressions of creativity in the service of well-being. And there is something deeply reassuring about how accessible they are. You do not need a specialty store. You do not need to spend beyond your means. A bag of dried chickpeas or a few cans from the shelf both hold the same quiet strength. If you choose canned, simply rinse them, let the excess sodium flow away. If you have more time, simmer dried chickpeas at home. There is something meditative about the process, the soft bubbling of water, the gentle yielding of the bean. Even cooking, when done with awareness, becomes part of the healing path. How often should you eat chickpeas? Begin gently, once, twice, a few times a week. Let your body respond. Let it teach you. Some find that a daily presence of chickpeas brings lightness to digestion, steadiness to energy, and quiet to their pain. If that is true for you, let them stay. Because in the world of chronic illness, it's easy to feel out of control, like the body has become a battlefield. But then something simple arrives on your plate. A handful of chickpeas, a spoonful of hummus, a meal made with care. And you are reminded healing does not always come from prescriptions or procedures. Sometimes it arrives through consistent acts of kindness to yourself, to your body, to your life. Chickpeas are not a miracle, but they are a message, one that says you are not powerless. You are part of this healing, one bite, one breath, one choice at a time. They are small, yes, but not insignificant. Within each bite of chickpeas lies a quiet power, the power to choose healing. And in a world where chronic illness often feels overwhelming, even unfair, every small choice matters. So the next time you find yourself planning your meals or walking slowly through the grocery aisles, I invite you to pause, to notice those simple beige-colored legumes sitting humbly on the shelf. They are more than a side dish. They are nature's offering, rich in fiber, polyphenols, plant protein, and essential minerals. They are what your joints have been asking for, sometimes without words. Add them to your basket. Explore a new recipe. Make them a part of your week. Your body will thank you. Your joints will thank you. Even your grocery bill might smile a little. Now, let us turn toward the third companion in our healing journey, tofu. Of all the plant-based allies, tofu is the one that tends to surprise people most. For some, it is unfamiliar. For others, misunderstood. But I encourage you to look again, not through the lens of taste or tradition, but through the eyes of healing. Because tofu is, in many ways, the most quietly powerful of them all. It begins with the soybean, one of the few plant-based sources of complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids the body requires. These amino acids are not optional. They are the building blocks of repair. Your muscles need them, your bones need them, and your joints, the spaces in your body that carry the weight of your movement, depend on them for protection and renewal. As we grow older, the strength of our muscles becomes more important, not less. Every ounce of support we can offer our joints through muscle maintenance is a gift. Tofu offers that gift gently without adding the inflammatory burden that can sometimes come with animal products. But tofu's support goes even deeper. Within its soft, pale form are omega-3 fatty acids, those rare plant-based fats that soothe inflammation at its source. While most people associate omega-3s with oily fish, tofu quietly carries them too. And these fats have the power to reduce the production of inflammatory compounds in the body, the very compounds that create swelling, stiffness, and pain in arthritic joints. When you eat tofu, you are not only feeding your hunger, you are nourishing your inner chemistry. You are asking the fire of inflammation to soften. You are inviting peace back into your tissues. And there is more still. Tofu is rich in calcium, a nutrient we often connect to strong bones, but rarely to joint health. Yet the two are deeply linked. Without a strong foundation, the structure above becomes unstable. In cases of arthritis, particularly osteoarthritis, it is not only the joint that suffers, it is the bone beneath carrying the strain. When bones are fortified, the skeletal system stands more aligned, and when alignment returns, pressure begins to ease. Tofu then is not simply protein. It is a stabilizer, a restorer, a gentle reminder that strength does not need to be loud to be real. Sometimes healing arrives not in a flash of brilliance, but in the quiet presence of something humble. Tofu is one such presence. Pale, soft, unassuming, it carries none of the drama of elaborate superfoods, no bold labels or marketing fanfare. But look more deeply, and you'll find that tofu is quietly working at the very core of what it means to nourish a body in pain. Let us begin with calcium, a mineral we associate with bones, but which plays a deeper role in the silent architecture of the body. Tofu, made from soybeans, provides a dairy-free, dependable source of calcium. For those who are lactose intolerant or simply choosing to reduce dairy, whether due to digestive discomfort or the inflammation it may bring, tofu is a steady alternative. It doesn't push or pull, it offers. And here is where tofu begins to shine more clearly. Many brands are fortified with vitamin D, a nutrient that works in tandem with calcium to strengthen bones and enhance absorption. But vitamin D's value goes beyond the skeletal. It supports the immune system, and more importantly, for those living with arthritis, it regulates inflammation. What many do not realize is that vitamin D deficiency is widespread, particularly in older adults. It often goes undetected, silently intensifying joint pain, stiffness, and fatigue. So when you choose tofu, you are not only feeding the body, you are gently correcting imbalances that may have gone unnoticed for years. Yet the offering continues. Inside tofu are compounds called isoflavones, plant-based phytonutrients that mimic the gentle action of estrogen in the body, not to disrupt, but to support. Research has shown that these isoflavones may help reduce inflammation, increase joint flexibility, and lower pain in those with rheumatoid arthritis and other chronic joint conditions. This is not magic. It is nature aligned with science, aligned with you. Many studies have noted that those who consume soy regularly report greater ease of movement, fewer stiffness episodes, and improved overall joint function. Tofu is not a cure, but it is a contributor, a daily ally in the quiet restoration of your body's own healing capacity. Now you may ask, what do I do with tofu? Isn't it bland? Yes, and that is its strength. Tofu is a canvas, a neutral, open form that absorbs the flavors and intentions you give it. Garlic, ginger, soy sauce, lemon, turmeric, all these become part of it. And like any mindful practice, the more attention you give it, the more it offers in return. Start simply. If you are new, choose extra firm tofu. Press the water out gently. Let it marinate. Give it time to listen, to receive the flavor. Then stir-fry it with vegetables, bake it until golden, grill it for a crisp texture, or toss it into a warm curry or wrap. For those who prefer gentleness in texture, there is silken tofu. Creamy and smooth, it blends into smoothies, soups, sauces, or even desserts. It adds nourishment invisibly, hidden in puddings, dips, or as a substitute for heavy creams. With no need to announce itself, it simply supports. And the beauty of tofu is that it remains affordable, accessible, and simple. No need for specialty shops. It sits on shelves in most grocery stores in many forms: silken, soft, firm, extra firm. Once you become familiar, it slips naturally into your routine like breath into a meditation. Unopened, tofu is shelf-stable for a time, waiting patiently to nourish you when the moment arrives. So how often should you welcome tofu into your meals? A few times a week is a good beginning. Observe your body, let it respond, and if you find that your joints feel looser, your digestion calmer, your energy steadier, then let tofu stay. Pair it with other foods that heal: turmeric, leafy greens, brown rice, or quinoa. In doing so, you are building a plate of balance, one that offers protein, calcium, vitamin D, omega-3s, and isoflavones in a form the body can recognize, absorb, and trust. This is not about restriction or rules. It is about kindness, about offering your body support in the most natural way. Arthritis can often feel like a slow erosion of control. The pain, the stiffness, the inability to do what once came easily, these moments are real. They challenge not only the body, but the spirit. But food can be part of the healing, not just as fuel, but as an act of self-respect, of choosing stillness over chaos, simplicity over struggle, nourishment over numbness. Tofu, in its quiet way, invites that shift. It will not demand anything from you, it will not overwhelm you, but given the chance, it may begin to restore the strength you thought was gone and return you to a life lived not in pain, but in presence. It is easy to believe that healing must be dramatic, sudden, transformative, complete. But in my years of practice, I have come to see that true healing is often quiet. It begins with a single breath, a mindful pause, or a small choice, like adding tofu to your meal. You do not need perfection. What you need is progress, gentle, consistent, intentional. Choosing foods that support your body's rhythm, calm its discomfort, and return a sense of quiet control. Tofu, though humble in appearance, is one of those foods, silent, soft, and generous in its gifts. So whether you're taking your first step toward plant-based nourishment, or whether this path is already familiar, let tofu join you. Let it become your own, through experimentation, through presence, through care. Because sometimes the medicine you seek does not reside in a bottle. It resides in the ordinary, in what you choose to place on your plate. And often the most powerful healing begins not in the body, but in the intention behind how we feed it. Let us bring the journey together now. If you are walking with arthritis, remember this trio: lentils, chickpeas, and tofu. Each one carries its own wisdom. Lentils with their grounding fiber and magnesium, chickpeas with antioxidants and collagen support, and tofu with complete protein and the quiet strength of soy. These are not exotic remedies, they are everyday allies, nourishing from the inside, gently easing inflammation, and helping the body remember what balance feels like. You do not need complex diets or costly pills. Sometimes the path to relief is found in simplicity, in one small change practiced often. So choose one, cook it, taste it, let your body speak. And slowly, quietly, you may begin to feel the shift. Not just in your joints, but in your relationship with the body you inhabit. This is the way of healing, one mindful meal at a time.